Oscar is born at night in a small-town hospital, and it becomes clear immediately that he is an unusual child. The baby does not obey the law of universal gravitation. The mother and grandmother, fearing for the baby, decide to hide his superpower, and for many years he grows in secret from everyone. In the night and through bad weather, a mother takes her daughter Natalia to the hospital. The young woman is about to give birth. The attending nurse helps the child come into the world, still connected to the mother by the umbilical cord. The baby hovers in the air before the astonished woman's eyes. Natalia gently places the miraculous child on her chest and tells her grandmother, "Mom, I have given birth to an angel." The women rush out of the hospital to prevent anyone from learning about the flying child. Back home, Natalia's mother closes the blinds and window shutters, declaring to her daughter that Oscar will never go outside. In the morning, the stunned women see the child sleeping on the ceiling, as if hanging there like a balloon. Natalia's mother believes that her flying grandson is her punishment from God for her daughter's wayward life. She fears the gossip that will spread throughout the town if anyone finds out about Oscar's ability. But there are already those who want to share the news of the newborn. 4 of the town's main gossip mongers hurry to their house early in the morning. Natalia's mother kindly lets them into the house but doesn't allow them to hold the child, under the pretext that the doctor strictly forbade it. In reality, the boy was fastened to the crib with a strap. Quickly getting rid of the intrusive guests, the women set about arranging the house, nailing soft blankets to the ceiling in the rooms, and adding a safety strap to the child's crib. Several years passed. Natalia sewed an orange vest for her growing son, with a Batman emblem on his chest, Oscar's favorite superhero. In his pockets, there were small weights. Now Oscar could stand on the floor, walk like a regular child, and even go to school. However, the nervous grandmother forbade her daughter and grandson to even think about it and promised to teach the boy at home. In addition, she boarded up the windows to prevent Oscar from going outside on his own. Natalia believed it was too much. She argued with her mother and one evening took Oscar for a walk, but she warned him not to tell anyone about his superpower. After that evening, Oscar's life seemed to stop being different from a normal child's. His mother took him on walks and even sewed herself the same orange vest to shield her son from the sideways glances of passers-by. In this attire, they once went to the store, and Natalia asked Oscar to wait outside. As soon as the boy was alone, a girl in a pink jacket, Agatha, emerged from around the corner. She fell to the asphalt due to their collision, causing water bottles to break. Agatha blamed Oscar for this, and, as an apology, made him carry those bottles. Reluctantly, the boy agreed to help. On their way to Agatha's house, the children lingered in front of a shop window displaying an advertisement featuring a famous TV host. Oscar was already very tired, so he discarded the weights while the girl talked about her dream of becoming as beautiful and successful. Near Agatha's house, a new acquaintance, Oscar realized that only the water bottles in his hands kept him on the ground, so he didn't want to let them go. The girl attacks him, forcefully takes the bottles away from him, and to her surprise, Oscar goes up into the air. But Agatha is not frightened, and she comes to his aid. She hands her backpack to Oscar, the weight of which helps him stay on the ground. The boy swears on his pinky fingers that Agatha won't tell anyone about what she saw. When Oscar returns home, his mother meets him and scolds him for disobeying and leaving. However, he enthusiastically tells her about his new acquaintance and her gift, the pink backpack. Oscar and Agatha are now best friends. Instead of wearing a vest, the boy always carries her gift on his back. They watch Batman cartoons together, draw, and play. They even prepare for a costume party where Agatha dresses as a princess and Oscar is dressed as an angel, much to his dismay. Natalia and Agatha's grandmother say their goodbyes to the children as they go off to have fun. They chat pleasantly on the doorstep, and from the old woman's words, Natalia realizes that Oscar revealed the girl's secret. From that moment, Natalia forbids her son's only friend from visiting their home, and they have nowhere else to meet, as Oscar never went to school. Many years later, mother and son live in a house on the outskirts of the city. The grandmother passed away, leaving them alone. Oscar no longer reveals his secret to anyone in the world. He leads a reclusive life, gloomily walking around the house in peculiar pajamas, with the pink backpack from Agatha still keeping him grounded. He spends his time watching TV and reading books, with a vast collection piled up in his room. Sometimes Oscar goes to a local bar to wait for his mother to finish work, drinks, and reads again. At the bar, he chats with his friend Andre, who gives him the nickname Backpack, and makes jokes about how Oscar fancies the bartender. During one of their regular hangouts, the TV antenna breaks. Oscar's friend suggests climbing onto the roof to fix it, to which Oscar responds, "I'll fly to the roof like Batman." But then he catches his mother's look of disapproval and prohibition, and awkwardly retracts his words. On the way home, mother and son discuss the situation. Oscar dreams of being shown on TV, being called a legend, and even having a book written about him. Natalia sadly replies that the world is not as friendly as he thinks. Oscar looks back at the television. Between shows, they air commercials for a show featuring extraordinary people, inviting participants with unique talents. Hope lights up in the boy's eyes. He writes down the phone number, quietly packs his things in the night, takes some money, and leaves the house while his mother sleeps. The very next day, Oscar is shown on TV. In an old sweater with a backpack on his shoulders, he shyly takes the stage to demonstrate his amazing gift. He drops the backpack and soars to the studio's ceiling. Thousands of viewers, including his mother, are watching him. This is all he wanted. Therefore, after the show, Oscar immediately packs his things in the hotel room to go back home. But there, he is intercepted by Agent David, who offers to promote Oscar in the showbiz world. For his services, he will take a modest 10% of the earnings. David immediately suggests a stage name for the young man, the Man Without Gravity. Oscar eagerly asks if someone will ever write a book about him. The cunning agent promises everything Oscar desires, and Oscar signs the contract. David settles the artist in a new luxurious 2-story house, but forbids him from bringing his mother there. Supposedly, there will always be plenty of women visiting him. From now on, the agent takes Oscar to shoots for advertisements, entertainment shows, and parties. He even calls Oscar's mother under David's control. But very soon, Oscar becomes famous. Magazines and newspapers write about him, display huge posters with his photo, and the pink backpack becomes one of the main attributes of his image. Entertainment becomes a way of life, and the artist no longer answers his phone when his mother calls. During a photo shoot in the studio where Oscar is filming, another agent brings in a pink pony. The men talk among themselves and shamelessly compare whose artist is better. Feeling like just a prop for the show, Oscar hesitantly asks the agent for the opportunity to say a few words about how he feels before the performance. David dismissively waves him off and says that the audience doesn't need it. In Oscar's hometown, advertisers have already opened a museum dedicated to the sacred man without gravity and even erected a bronze monument in the courtyard. The exhibits here are children's items that never actually belonged to him, because it's essential to create an image that will sell, an image of a child born without a father and raised by an unstable and intrusive mother. When Oscar, feeling upset about what is happening, watches this report, a message from Time magazine appears with his phone number. On its cover, the Man Without Gravity is featured. This is undoubtedly a success, but Oscar doesn't care. He is devastated and confesses to the agent that he feels like a fool. Only the dream of having a book written about him still keeps Oscar enthusiastic. To prevent losing the client and the large amount of money involved, David immediately arranges a meeting with a writer and a literary agent. They promise to release a book with 1 million copies in 3 months. He is satisfied and retrieves his manuscripts. However, it turns out that he has no right to dictate the content of the book. It will be written on his behalf, but without his involvement. A script has already been devised in which Oscar lived in poverty, starved, and constantly saved friends from danger. They convince him that there is no need to spoil what people like with the truth. Disillusioned, Oscar runs away. Realizing from the meeting that no one is interested in his real life, he believes that people are satisfied with him just being able to fly. However, the contract is still in effect, and Oscar is forced to continue working. His mother comes to one of his next shows. In a somber mood, the hero takes the stage dressed as an angel. He needs to please the audience and take flight, but the Man Without Gravity refuses to do so and becomes furious right on stage. Such a stunt could lead to legal troubles and fines, and David is pondering how to salvage the situation. But Oscar no longer wants to be a laughingstock and offers his solution, to announce that he has died, that the Man Without Gravity has flown away. This is what the news reports the next day. They also announced that the hero had no real abilities, and the shows were organized with special effects. Reporters and journalists hound Oscar's doorstep for a long time after this. In front of everyone, Natalia silently closes the door, but after such stress, her health deteriorates significantly, and the woman soon passes away. Oscar moves to the city center. Now he conceals his identity. He modestly lives in a small apartment, uses a wheelchair, dresses like a beggar, and works as an administrator at the Matella, where women of easy virtue bring their clients. At work, Oscar is treated very well. His colleagues give him the endearing nickname House Spirit. The manager consults with him and even inquires about what to get him for Christmas. He spends the holiday at work, checking the keys to the rooms. He notices that only one room is occupied and decides to go to the girl to ensure everything is okay. A pretty brunette opens the door and makes it clear to Oscar that he should leave. However, her attention is drawn to the pink backpack on his back. The girl exits her room and follows Oscar down the corridor, and in vestibule, she addresses him by name. Oscar is confused, thinking she recognizes him as the Man Without Gravity, and he denies his name. But the stranger also reveals her own name, turning out to be Agatha. The next day, childhood friends go to a cafe together. Agatha explains that she wanted to contact Oscar but didn't. After all, someone so wealthy and famous might not even remember her. In the cafe, the waitress serves Agatha very kindly, compliments her, and offers her coffee and croissants on the house. Oscar jealously observes this scene and inquires if his friend has a boyfriend. In response, Agatha asks the same question, curious why someone so wealthy and famous doesn't have a girlfriend. Oscar replies that he has only fallen in love once, in childhood, with his friend who is sitting across from him. The man shows the girl his modest apartment. Agatha quickly assesses that Oscar won't escape poverty and rushes to leave, but he stops her, playing a video recording. On the disc, there is a clip of a famous TV diva, the one they saw in the shop window when they were children. The memories make the couple forget their troubles, and they dance carefreely, just like many years ago. In the following days, they each continue with their work. Agatha brings in new clients, and Oscar hands her the room keys, but they spend their free time together, running through the city streets, going to the cinema, and dancing. Their relationship becomes warmer. Agatha gives Oscar a new black men's backpack, and he gives her a ring with an agate stone. They spend their first night together. Oscar is convinced that they are in a serious relationship, so the next time Agatha appears, he tries to give her a rose right in front of a client. She coldly ignores him and goes upstairs. But after some time, she sends the client away and rushes to Oscar in tears, her mascara running. She tries to prove to him and herself that there can be nothing between them. But immediately after saying those words, she apologizes. However, Oscar leaves without looking back. The man without gravity goes to the old house where he spent his childhood. He inspects the empty rooms and what remains of the museum. Suddenly, there's a knock on the door. Agatha stands on the doorstep with a pink backpack in her hands. Smiling, the man lets her into the house. Oscar and Agatha got married and are expecting a child. Our hero fulfilled his childhood dream. He flies like Batman.